Hey girl, welcome to Finding My Best Self, the podcast where it's totally okay to show up in your leggings and messy bun. Because let's be real, that's our uniform here. The only rule is to be unapologetically yourself.
And I'm Mandy, and joining me is Pam, the queen of finding the silver linings. We're here to share laughs, tears, and everything in between. Think of us as your new best friends with some stories to tell and wisdom to share.
From face palms to victories, we're diving into the journey of self-discovery, wellness, and what it means to truly embrace who you are. So whether you're conquering the world or just trying to find your phone in the black hole, purse, we've got you covered.
Because here it's all about encouraging you to lace up those sneakers, or don't, we're not judging, and join us as we explore what it truly means to own your confidence and find your best self.
So pour yourself a cup of coffee or a glass of wine and let's get into it. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Finding My Best Self podcast. I am your host today, Pam Revet, and I am doing a guest interview, and it's been a little while, so I am so excited to be interviewing today. Her name is Aliona. I'm going to mess it up, and I'm going to let her say her last name for you when she comes on. She has been helping female founders to overcome imposter syndrome and with burnout and to lead with confidence in their business and their personal life. She is the owner of Ali Breathe Coaching. So welcome. I am so excited to have you, Ali.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for that warm introduction. And my name is Aliona. The origin is from Russia. And I moved to Canada about 4 years ago now. And I am very excited to be here and to really share with your audience everything about I know on self-confidence, on self-coaching even, and on the burnout as well, because as we mentioned before that episode, that we had a rough week. And I really want to see where that episode and that conversation would lead us to make sure that your listeners can find that episode whenever they have a rough week as well, and have a bit of inspiration and motivation.
Yes. I love that so much. So you and I actually spoke a good bit before today, before we did our podcast, and you filled me in on so many interesting things about yourself. Which it's so fun for me getting to know other women, especially not from this area, right? I talk to a lot of women from this area, but it's so fun to have someone not from here. So can you talk a little bit about, you said that you are originally from Russia.
Yes.
But I'll go a little bit more into, because I don't want to spoil it for you, but tell us where you live now and kind of what brought you there and those kind of things.
Yes, absolutely. I moved to Canada in August 2021, and it was a movement from me to really go and find the higher level of life. Even before everything started back in Russia, I knew somewhere inside of me that I wanted to be in another country, in maybe another continent, mainly because I wanted to experience what it is like to be and to live outside and to be there and to explore how do people live there and how do they breathe and work and study and just enjoy life there, because I saw how it was in my country. But then I was like, okay, what do I want to see and explore? And I first went. I'm sorry. I first came to Ontario, and then I did my studies there, and I just saw how it is like to live in a very small town and understand what are the dynamics of the Canadian culture there. Then I moved to Calgary, and saw how it is like to live more in a place where farming and it was more about oil and gas before I moved there,
Mhm.
and then it is still an industrial place, but there are many, many great people, and I found many great friends there. But my true tribe I found in Montreal. And even though I don't know the language that they speak here, French, I still found the tribe and the people where I am right now because they make me feel like home. And I
Aw.
don't know how, but I experienced the first time ever in my life what it is like to feel and to be a true friend and to have a true tribe
Mm.
of people who just there and who just believe in you no matter whatever you are doing and how you are coming out in the world. They are just there, and it's the most incredible feeling that I am in right now.
Mm. I love that so much just to know like, I got chills listening to you say that because when you find your tribe, like, it's that feeling like you just know, right?
Hmm.
And so that we talk a lot about that, about just finding your tribe and figuring out, because I personally went through a time in my life where I wasn't sure anymore who I wanted to hang out with, right? It was that wall, that point that I hit that I was like, who is my circle? Who should still be in my circle? Who shouldn't be in my circle? Who am I missing from my circle, right? So that's incredible that you took that leap of faith and ended up somewhere that you ultimately did find your people in your circle that welcome you and make you feel love and respected. So that's
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
inside of that, so now you're there and you're
Yeah.
comfortable and you have your circle and things are going great. So what are you doing inside of your coaching and what does that look like for you?
I wanted to start from my own way, how I came there, because I think that it is important to understand why I am doing what I'm doing from the perspective of the very beginning of my journey. And it was when I was the biggest self critic to my own self that you could possibly imagine. I wasn't liking my image in the mirror. I was really struggling to understand how I can love myself and how I can truly, truly accept what I am and who I am in the world and what I'm doing in the world. And that is how my journey began. I went to a program which meant to help me, but in a few months, I had my first client because I realized how much I really love digging deeper into mindset of people, into what prevents them from being happy, into what is that one thought that nagging on their head every single day that they're not even aware of, but it influences them all over and over again. And I am very glad that I did that because I not only solved my own issue, but helped dozens and dozens of clients, of women who were struggling with burnout, with self confidence, and with the things that are not really common to talk about right now out there, like how to really feel emotions and how to let them go, how to not
Mhm.
be scared of letting all your emotions go, and how it is not being a woman or a girly to put all your emotions out there, but it is very needed process for our own self to make sure that I know what I feel and I am not hiding it from anyone and from my own self as well. I'm not pushing it back, because if we are, then it will come back with a much stronger force. And honestly, so often it knocks us down, which I really want to prevent as many people from.
Mhm. Yeah. And that's speaking of exactly what we were talking about before we joined this call. So, our listeners, today is Friday, And it is the week of the, what was it, a blood moon or a lunar eclipse or
I don't
something
even
like that.
know.
I don't follow any of that, but we know because we were talking before the call that we have been chatting with friends about just the struggles of this week. And it's been brought up to both of us. We said that that's the case. So for listeners to know this, so they'll be listening next Wednesday. So right now, you and I, Allie, both said before we joined this call that we both feel very tired and very burnt out and very overwhelmed by this week. And it's having to give ourselves grace and remind ourselves that not everything on the list has to be checked off every day. And that's okay. And that's, I know, is really what I've had to sit with this week is that every day things have just come up that were not on my schedule and have taken a lot of time out of my day. Therefore, there has not been a single day this week that my list of, things to do for each day have gotten done. And I'm just having to let myself know like it's okay, it's going to get done, and just trying to give myself as much grace as I possibly can to not get flustered or frustrated. I'm making sure to continue to practice my self care because I know a lot of women will put that on the back burner when we
Oh,
feel
yes.
overwhelmed by our to do list and all of our roles and responsibilities. And when things start coming up, it's self care is okay. That's the one thing that gets taken off. Oh, I don't need to work out. Oh, I don't have time to eat right tonight. I'm going to go get fast food. I don't have time to, I don't know, maybe do my facial or my long bath or whatever. And those are the things that we have to always keep at the forefront because you can't continue to push through, especially during hard weeks when it feels like nothing is working with you and everything's working against you. Those are the weeks that you really need to make sure that just your self-care is top priority.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that is so interesting that you mentioned that because yesterday evening, in the middle of the day, I realized that, well, if I keep pushing myself through all of the tasks that I need right now, I will just push myself to burnout. 1,000%. My
Mm-hmm.
brain is not
Mm.
there. My mind clarity is not there at all. I will just struggle all the way through. And that is not the life that I'm building right now. I am building the life where I am excited to go and do everything that I want. So let me push it away and let me go for a walk. I went there and I came back and I was like, okay, I have 2 more hours before I go to bed. What do I want to do with them? And I was like, well, I have gazillions of tasks. That's awesome. But I want to make a priority to cook a very nutritious meal and the one that will help me make sure that all of my days that will be after that point will be filled with that food, with the high quality one. And I am not regretting it because that pause and that break made me a bit more chill, a bit better. And then I came back and I completed everything in 1 hour, not two.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a very nice understanding of when we are tired and when we are overwhelmed, we are taking much longer to complete the tasks that can take us 10 minutes. We will do that much, much longer. And that is a very crucial thing to know that it's not a weakness. It is a strategy of winners to really step back and to understand, okay, I am all right. I'm okay. I am just going for a walk. And I know that it is essential for my own well being right now, rather than keep pushing and keep doing everything that you need at this day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, the hardest thing is remaining calm because I tend to get very worked up and very flustered. So that's always something that I am always consciously working on, right? Is
Yeah.
to when those things start happening, for me to not get filled with that anxiety that gets me super flustered. And then that's when my brain almost just shuts off and I have the
Hmm.
clarity is gone. Everything starts to go because I'm so flustered. So it's just remaining calm through each, as things come up, I'm like, okay, like we're going to do this and then we'll move on with, on to the next thing. And just trying to sit with that and those feelings of this was not supposed to happen. but it's happening. So we're going to roll with it. And just that's something that I'm always, always trying to work on.
Yeah, yeah, and plus also it is always a game of expectations versus what is actually right now going on in your life. And as
Mm-hmm.
soon as we let go of all of the expectations that we have, the happiness level is go up, because the happiness equation is expectations minus reality. And if we
Mm-hmm.
don't have that, if we don't have those big high expectations, we are having the reality that is there, and we can just go ahead and enjoy that, because we are much happier and much grounded, much calmer, and much at peace when we are in the present moment, rather than when we are chasing that list of tasks, or chasing that next goal, or chasing that next thing. And it is a fine balance between having a goal, but at the same time know that timeline might be different, and being
Mm-hmm.
really okay with that new timeline that will be or is created by life, by moon, by any external factors. Just be okay and truly embrace that here and now, and understand, okay, what am I doing today with everything that I can change, or any like, or everything that I need to accept.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Ali, tell me, because so you're from Russia, you took the
Yes.
leap of faith, you moved to Canada and by yourself, correct?
Hmm.
Alone. How old were you?
I was 22.
22. Moved from
Yes.
Russia to Canada alone. And I do have to ask this question. Why Canada?
Yeah. So before that move, I was in the US. I was working there for 5 months, and I made money. And I want, like, that money was able to really help me um, understand, okay, I have that money. It is like, it's the money that you would earn on, like, after two or 1 year of full-time job back there, because the currency
Wow.
exchange is brutal. And that is why, when
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I am appeared at this point of, I have those money right now, what do I do next? I didn't want to invest it in the house back there or in the business back there, even though I almost was at a point where I was like, am I immigrating to a different country, or am I opening the business? And I'm happy that I did the second, the first one, because I was able to immigrate, and then I'm opening the business right now here. What made me choose Canada is, initially, when I got this money, I was like, okay, I want to live in a place where it is warm. You know that in Russia, especially where am I, and I am at the same climate as I was there, which is strong winter and maybe 5 or 4 months of the warm and the sunny there. And living in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for 5 months and working there, I was like, I want just to be near the ocean. I am a completely different person by the ocean, and I really want to be there and to really enjoy that moment. And I was like, okay, what is another country that speaks English and that is warm? Australia. Awesome, amazing. Let's find a way how I can be there. And a year later, I ended up being in Canada, not in Australia, because the COVID and because of the immigration system to Australia is way tougher rather than to Canada. And I was like, okay, it doesn't work to go to Australia. What can I do? And the back burner was Canada, and I moved here to studying first, and then I worked up my documents to make sure that I have permanent residence now, and that I can apply for the citizenship in a year almost now. So yeah, and my main reason was to really get the higher quality of life and to understand, can I do that? Because that, like, it's been with a few goals of mine throughout my life. Last year in May, I ran a marathon. Mind you, I wasn't a runner for my whole life. never. I was like, why would I do it even? But I started running in December, and then I was like, I can run 5K. Okay, that's great. What do I do next? I doubled that in, I believe, 3 weeks. I ran 12K. I was like, that's interesting. So I can do that. And I like, in what time period I can double that up? I did it in a month. I was like, so if I can double in that speed, I can double it again from the half marathon to a full one in, I believe that was 5 months that I was preparing to it. And it was in a way the same with Canada. Can I really do that? And can I really make those rules work on my case and make sure that I'm not going just there for the studying and for trying to do that? No, I'm going there to immigrate, to live there, and to get the passport and to be the full full citizen over there. And I'm very happy that he did it, and apparently it was in the very right timing. And I am, of course, very much missing my family because everyone is back there, and I'm very happy to finally start working on my trip for the parents over here. They will come for the first time to Canada, and it's going to be a nerve-wracking, but at the same time very exciting to show them a completely new world where I've been for the last couple of years, show them what I've built here and how it is possible to start the life from scratch in a completely different country. It wasn't easy. It wasn't a straightforward path, but it is possible. It is possible.
Yeah. That's incredible. Like, that's truly incredible for anyone who's listening to just hear how, at any point in life, at any age in life, it doesn't matter what you have or haven't done in the past, but that you can make that decision to make that change, even if it means completely starting your life over from scratch.
Yeah.
There's one thing to say, I need to make this one small change in my life to do things better, but you literally picked up, the little bit that you had, I'm sure just probably at that point a bag, right? When you're coming from another country and just literally started over from scratch. That's
Yeah.
incredible. So, I mean, it sounds like you are doing really well. You have a successful business and you are doing all of the right things, not only just working on your own personal mindset, but also taking all of the courses and the programs to be able to extend that out to other women because you were so intrigued by what you learned in helping your own self that now you can
Yeah.
share that with other women. Was there any sort of like a pivotal moment? I feel like we all have this part in our journey. I know we were just talking about mine before the call. There's this point in your life where it's just like that, with that fork in the road, and it's like, which way do I go? And or just that big turning point where you can look back and say, it was that like really changed my life.
I love that question. I really love it. And there were so many those pivotal moments from when I got the first place when working in the US to when I actually made that move and the move itself going on 5 different flights, the fourth of which got not cancelled, but they didn't let me on the plane and I needed to rebook the whole ticket again, being in Turkey and needing to go to Canada within next 24 hours because the test that I needed to show them, the PCR test, was expiring and I had to do that no matter how.
Oh, wow.
And there was many points, but one that I really wanted to touch base on was it was about a year in and I was spending time with a person who was doing the same course that I was doing at that point on coaching. And she asked me a question after I shared all my story. And she was also like, wow, you're so brave and everything. And she asked me a question, Aliona, are you afraid of anything in life? And that got me really pause and think, because I was like, am I? And what made me that brave in a way? Because I know that it's not hugely common to switch continents just like that. And of course, it was just like that. It was a very tough journey, but I did it. And back to that question, I was like, am I afraid of anything? And at the point of answering, I was like, I don't think so. But then I was like, why? And as you probably noticed, I do have stuttering, and it is not the worst of it as it was in my life. From age 10 to age 16, I wasn't able to speak almost at all. Back in
Oh, wow.
school, they didn't ask me to tell out loud the answers. They were asking me to write all of them down, because it was in a way waste of time for waiting, and it was a great way for them and for me to really find a way to keep asking me whether I can do that or not. But at the same time, it was tough, and I was the toughest part. Luckily, I didn't have any bullies, but I was the main one for my own self, because I was thinking that, oh, people are struggling to understand me. I'm wasting their time of really trying to pronounce the word, the word over and over again. And the thing is that I had to overcome my fear of start talking when I was answering the phone, when I was going to the market and buying the vegetables, when I was needed to really speak up on English classes, because when you are doing math, you can write the answer down. But when you are learning English and when you have to speak and have to perform on tests on the speaking part, teachers there weren't really okay with me just writing things, because they wanted me to speak. And I am glad for them pushing me that way, because now I am able to do that fully. But it was the answer that I think was the very big turning point for me, to understand that I overcame my own fear millions of times. And I know that it won't ever be perfect and ideal, but if I need to buy the vegetables, I will buy them, because I will find a way to pronounce tomato at that very point in time to buy them. And that is, I would say, was the biggest life lesson and the biggest school for me in my life. And I realized that it was so only after many, many years, when I, in a way, was finally able to speak a bit better rather than I was back then. And it was a very important moment for me to realize that my own challenge and my own thing that I thought would bury me alive, I was so self conscious and like I was eating myself because I couldn't pronounce things normally. I was so rush and so tough with my own self. I was like, why I? Why no one else in my world have this problem, but why I have it and I can't speak normally every single day? And that is just a very big moment for me and for everyone who is listening, that no matter your any physical abilities or anything that was external or even internal, you can change your life. You can go and create a new reality for yourself, no matter from what neighborhood you are, from what race you are, from what internal things in your body you have. Use it as your power, as thing that will move you forward and remind you every single day that you overcame that already so many times and you can do it again and again, even if it's the toughest week ever in your year, or when you know that I really need clients or money, or I want my kids to be better. But know that it's all a journey, and at some point in life you will find an answer why all those challenges were thrown at your own way. And I hope that that example is a reminder about, you will find an understanding why it was that tough. You will know that, but just
Mhm.
keep going in now.
Mm. I love that so, so much. And that, like, Allie, that is, I don't even know how to wrap my head around what, or to verbalize what I want to say. For you to take, that triumph, adversity, or whatever you had that was going against you, or that you felt in that moment, that you did allow for a little while, right, to overcome you. You said, like, you were,
Yeah,
overeating and things like that. But again, you had that wake up call
yeah,
of, why am I going to, this is not going to stop me from pursuing my dreams or becoming the person, the woman that I know that I was created to be. And to
mm-hmm.
be able to put that aside and to push through that. And like you said, to truly embrace the journey, and not so much looking for an end point, right? It's that just taking the journey as it comes, with the hurdles and the bumps in the road, and that it's not always going to be butterflies and rainbows, but that every struggle, every, rock that's thrown our way, everything that happens is, like you said, for purpose.
Yeah,
And one day that we'll be able to look back and see why. So we just have to take them as they come and just
yeah,
work through them, and then still be able to find that sense of joy and happiness in the chaos. And a friend of mine
absolutely.
likes to say, she talks about fear a lot, and she says, fear is excitement on pause. So why are you going to allow fear to pause all the excitement that could come if you just put it aside?
I
So I
love
love
that.
that for you. So what are you doing? Like, what do you do to help yourself, whether it's just nurturing your own self, practicing your own self-care, or just any sort of rituals that you have? Like, what are your daily things, your go-to things? I know you talked a little bit earlier about doing the running or walking, but do you have
Yeah.
anything else? Like, what are your little go-to things?
Yeah, my biggest one is definitely journaling. I can't emphasize that enough. It is, I believe, in my point of view, such an underrated tool that everyone has right now, a pen and a paper, and it works wonders if you know how to use it. And I've done a big journaling guide on how to truly use it from my over 10 years of experience of really doing that every single day, because my mind, I don't know about you, or I don't know about the listeners, but I am an overthinker. My mind never stops, and I keep going and going, and it can pull me in so many different directions in a span of a minute. And I'm like, that is insane. I just want to really have quiet finally. Can we just all have a moment of the quietness? And I wrote down all of the things that I'm using, because it's on my phone, on my laptop, on my two different journals that I have at the same time on parallel, and I'm using different colors of the pens. And I will be very, very happy to share that guide with your listeners, because I truly know that it has an immense power. And no matter whether a client goes with me on a full program or not, this is the always main task that I am making sure that they are taking that, because that is a self-coaching, that is a self-therapy that you can do every single day, every single morning, day and evening, to make sure that you are staying sane in that chaos, that you are embracing that chaos, as we mentioned before. So that is definitely number one. Number two, I love nature. I love going out there and really enjoy birds, water, and nice weather when we have that. And finally, we start having an amazing spring on our end over here. So that's awesome. And I really like just dancing. because
Oh.
one thing is I am a competitive dancer, but I love having just dance breaks in the middle of my day because I just love to come back to my body and to understand, okay, I am in my mind whole day long. It's just buzzing, buzzing, buzzing over there. How can I ground myself and really feel my body? Because even when we are maybe listening to that right now, how many of you knows what the position of our knees are, or what is the position of our toes is? Are they truly comfortable? Do they feel relaxed or tensed? And where is the tension in our body? And with dancing, I am able to let go of all of the tension and really, truly just let go of everything. And also, the fourth one is meditation. I can't leave without that. And the thing that I started doing yesterday, I have the live session with a guest for my podcast. And what I did is that I really want to give something back after that session. And I will do the custom meditations for every single client that is coming on the session on my podcast to really help them remember what we were going through on the session in the meantime before the next one. And
Mm.
I am in love with meditations. I did I recorded the first one of mine yesterday, and I was like, just the process of doing them and of creating them for one specific person, and knowing that that one person will know why I am talking and why I'm using those words. I was so proud of myself, and I was like, wow, that was amazing. And I just really think that the way of creating something, of connecting with art, maybe it's writing, maybe it's dancing, maybe it's creating a podcast, maybe it is all about creating a voice note or a meditation that someone will listen and know that you pull and put all of your heart into it. That's what makes re-nurture my own self. But first one is, of course, making sure that I sleep enough and that I am not overwhelmed from like my business life, plus also combining the 9 to 5. So it is all tough, but it is all doable, and we can do that, and we can make sure that everything is back to normal once we let go of all of our overthinking and emotions. And for me, the best way is journaling.
Okay. So I'm like trying to remember everything that I've been listening to and hearing and that I want to say back this whole time. So, first and foremost, that is very kind of you to offer up your guide for journaling, because as you started talking, that was going to be my question, but you answered it in there, because I know personally that I also very much enjoy journaling, right? And I know I have seen the importance in it and how much it completely shifts my attitude, my mindset in that moment, and even going forward after that.
Mm-hmm.
But before, years ago, I had heard of journaling before I really went down my own personal development path in life, but I didn't understand. I found myself literally Google searching how to journal or looking up on YouTube videos of, how to journal. And so I had to work my way into that. And I know that everyone has a different way. Some people are just brain dump people, which is what I've become. I found that that was what works for me is I just pick up and it's just a full on brain dump, anything and everything that's been
Mm-hmm.
going on. But I know that there are some people that prefer to have prompts, and there are different ways to journal, and that's okay, that certain ways to journal work for different people. But what's important to know is just the importance that's in it of getting those thoughts and feelings out, so that way you're not holding them in. So I would
Absolutely.
love to be able to share that with the listeners, and I know that they would love it too. So thank you for that. And what I heard from you in all of those things that you were doing, and what I want listeners to grasp from everything that you said, it's not necessarily the specifics, because again, everyone is different and everyone is going to find different ways. But everything that you said that you do are all, first of all, they're self-care things, right? I never once heard you say anything about anyone else. These are all of the things that is like self-care things, rituals, practices that you do in order to maintain a good mindset, to be able to do life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in those things, in those self-care things, you hit on all 3 points: mind, body, and soul.
Yes.
Mind being the journaling that you're doing, body being the physical aspect of dancing, and soul being your meditation. You're hitting on all three of those points. And that is something that we preach in Finding My Best Self in the podcast and MBS. It's just mind, body, and soul. It is all three pieces. I know for both Mandy and I that when we went down our personal development journeys and just trying to find our best self, that's what it was. We started with the physical, we added in the mental, and it wasn't until we hit that spiritual side of it too. When you combined all three,
Mm-hmm.
that's when it clicks. That's when you truly feel at peace. And that's when you can start saying, these are the things that I want to do. And you have that good mindset to be able to continue to push forward. Like we said, no matter what may come in the way and what bumps in the road you may hit, but you have to figure that out and nail that first. All of those self-care things and get all of those in place in order to be able to reach higher and higher. And that's just my
Absolutely.
personal. So I heard all three of those from you. So I'm listening to you and I'm just smiling because I'm like, you hit every single one of them. So with that, again, you've done all of these incredible things in your life. You packed up, you moved, you've created this wonderful life. You're helping people. You're personally doing all of the right things for yourself. Everything's going great. Tell me, how do you define the success now compared to 5 years ago? What did that, where's that shift? How has that shifted for you?
Yeah, and again and again, I just really want to emphasize I absolutely adore what is happening right now because back a few even months ago, I was hoping to get a community of people where they will ask the same depth of question that I love asking to my clients, to my parents, to my friends, because not everyone can really go that deep. And I absolutely love that. So I just want to really stop and pause and thank you so much for that opportunity and for like really go deep and understand that we are all together in that and that is just absolutely awesome. So
Yeah.
my yeah my my definition right now versus what it was before is that I really want to help people right now. This is all I want to do. If I can just every single day wake up to have 3 or 4 like my coaching sessions with my clients, that is really all I need to be happy because I am thriving to see how one meeting can transform their mindset and their
Mm,
thinking and their perception of life. How one processing of their emotion can let go of tension that they've been holding for years from things that happened in the past, from so many other things that are compounding every single day because they can't really pause and understand what is happening. So, right now, it is all about enjoying the journey and helping others transform their mind. And this is where I get the biggest joy from right now. And of course, I do love dancing, but it's not the success is just addition to it. But yeah, and versus what was before, it was all about I need to be seen, I need to be heard, I need other people to appreciate me. It was all external, rather than now here, it is all about how can I really help them and how can I feel the most joyful version of myself at this very moment of being in the moment with them in the present and trying to see what shifts, what tweaks they can implement every single day to make sure that they are not just keep pushing towards the dreams and goals, but really enjoying the process as well.
Mm-hmm. So you have truly found joy and passion in what you are doing in your career, which makes all the difference in the world. And
Yeah,
I know that I can testify to that too. So before we close out today, and thank you again so much, you have shared so much valuable information and just sharing your own personal journey
yeah.
and your own triumphs and all of your victories. And so thank you for sharing, being so open. But also congratulations to you because you have overcome
Thank you
so
so
much
much.
and you should be so proud.
Thank you.
So, what would be your message that you want our listeners to hear today more than anything? And I guess maybe even just a piece of advice, whether there's a piece of advice or and a message, either way, that you want to leave our listeners with today.
Absolutely. No matter what you've heard on this podcast, no matter how great my life can seem like, it is all same tough journeys and same tough mornings every single day. Not every single day, but it is not as pink blue skies as I'd like it to be. But the excitement and the life is in it. Because going through that roller coaster, through all of that hard weeks, we can strengthen our own self. We can become the better version of our own selves. And no matter how tough it is right now out there and how much of external world is influencing what you are experiencing right now, I want you to keep believing in yourself. I want you to keep knowing that there is a future version of you that overcame everything. I want you to know that you are capable. And the message that I wish I would hear much more often, I want to tell you right now, I believe in you. You got this. Just have
Aw.
those words and know that I know that you got this. I did it and you can too.
Oh, I love that so much. I'm like, if people are watching on YouTube, I'm like smiling from ear to ear. Like, I love that message so, so much. And you actually used a lot of those I am affirmations that we use very often as well. And just how important those affirmations are and to speak them to yourself every day, even in those moments of weakness when it's really, really hard, is to just continue to speak those positive affirmations to yourself over yourself. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, our infamous question that you have to answer before we end the podcast is, what does the woman beyond the cape mean to you?
I would say it is all about embracing the journey and showing up your true self every single day, not hiding your emotions from anyone and mainly not from your own self, but feeling them, embracing all of the challenges and playing that life, playing that game that you've created for yourself. And you don't like the game, switch it. You can do that and it is possible. So let's play, let's dance, and let's see how we can wake up every single day with purpose and with understanding it's going to be a great day.
Yes, yes, yes. I love that. I love that. I love you. This was fantastic, Allie. I cannot thank you enough for joining me today. I know that this is going to be a fantastic episode for our listeners. And if you are listening and you enjoyed today's podcast, please give it a share, leave us a review. That is how we can help to spread messages like this to help other women. If you think this is something that another woman in your life needs to hear, share this episode with them and keep listening. We'll have more episodes coming out very soon. And thank you so much for joining us today. And remember, as always, you are strong, you are capable, and you are worthy. I love you, and I'm endlessly rooting for you. I'll see y'all next time.
Thank you so much. See you.
Well, that's a wrap on today's episode of Finding My Best Self. It's been real. It's been fun. We hope you found a piece of your story in ours and feel a little more inspired to chase after your best self.
And don't forget to share this episode with someone who needs a little boost today or a good laugh. And make sure to subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode.
Nothing says owning your confidence like a new outfit from MBS Fitco. Check out the show notes for the link to shop our luxury athleisure. Go ahead, girl, treat yourself.
And if you've got a story to share or a topic you're dying for us to cover, drop us a line. Our email is in the show notes. Just reach out and let's keep the conversation going.
So until next time, keep owning your confidence, embracing the chaos, and remember, the best version of you is just an episode away.
And again, we love you and we're endlessly rooting for you.